Sure. I don't know. I was zooming in and all this crazy stuff, so.
Okay, we are the sustainability group. I'm Ivan and this is Shelly. We're a two-person group. Well, for our group, we got to know that there's a continued care board meeting going on at the City Hall, so we took the opportunity to do a little networking over there, and we got to know some of the community members over there who are really passionate about the issue of homelessness, and we got to talk to personally to one of the ladies whose name is Nancy Robinson. Well, she's the one who, she's like our lead to the other community members. And so we brought back a lot of resources from the City Hall to share with the class, and we turned into two messengers as well, to notify the class that there's this event going on campus, so the other classmates, our classmates, could do a little networking and get to know more about the community members and things that's going on in the community. And well, Martha talked about the SharePoint, which we will further discuss in the class later. And well, thanks to Daniel who shared the insights of SharePoint with us. And last week we invited Nancy Robinson and Ms. Mary Clark, who is the pastor of Valley Brook, to present for this class regarding how they started all this homelessness collaboration with all these people. So we're currently working on establishing the advisory board, and we're not quite sure how it will look like, but well, we are thinking of the opportunity of inviting the provost, Nancy, Mary to join.
So, and actually Nancy Robinson and Mary Clark are both very interested in being on the advisory board, but most of the information that we have regarding food and shelter came from this pamphlet that Ivan and I picked up, published by DW Extension. And they spend, it's this little trifold thing that they spend months getting ready. They can't afford to make a change in print and republish it again. And so they don't publish it very often, but they do. And the people in the community who work with the homeless population rely on it to inform a lot of their decisions. I had the chance to talk to Nancy Coffey this morning, and she apologized for not coming. She has some personal things going on, but I'm going to start crying because she just blew me away. I said, we'd really like to work together with you to make a website, because they can't afford a website, they can't afford to sustain a website. And I said, well, I think we could help a lot with that. So in the next couple weeks, we'll be talking to Nancy, and I also asked her to consider being on our advisory board, and she said she would take it under serious consideration. So we're very excited. We don't know what that looks like, but that's okay. We kind of know where we want to go with it, and where we want to go with it is to keep this alive and have people go, oh, you should look at that Eau Claire website. If you want to address homelessness in your community, here's where you start. So that's what we're hoping for. And I'm happy to say, before we ever unveiled it, it's working. I work in the nursing department, and was telling one of the, I'm telling everybody, but I was telling one of the team members, Kim set out the link, and I was looking at it. And she said, what is that? And so I explained, and she said, oh my God, do we ever need this? She takes a group of nursing students to a clinical immersion in southern Texas on the Mexico border. And it's just poverty, surrounded by poverty. And there's a birthing center there, and the students have the opportunity to assist this group of nurses or nuns or whoever it is, serving a very poor population. And one of the students who went said, I'm really glad we have this opportunity, because that just doesn't exist in Eau Claire. That kind of poverty doesn't exist. And Rita was like, so she had me email them the poverty quiz, email her the poverty quiz, and her classes will be required to take that. And she is interested at some time in the future in getting some kind of collaboration with the College of Nursing and the college students with the people who serve the homeless communities. And I think that's how we're going to wrap up, is we've got something really great started here. Anybody who's going to be around, anybody who's not going to be around and wants to continue working on this, please, please, please speak up, because I'll be around for a long. And I don't think I think it's quite time to let go yet. At some point it will be. Like Mary and Nancy pointed out, it goes, you have to, but not quite yet. That's it, I think.
Before we end, I want to, in talking with the sustainability group, we talked about how we would really be honored if our community members here today who have helped us through this, Janet and Joe, those are our community members, would be on our advisory board. And we don't want you to answer now. You can think about it. We will issue you a formal invitation. And then I also want to just introduce Amber Fritsch, who is very much a part of this class, but didn't directly participate in this. She's our academic apprentice this semester and has helped us through a lot of things.
Well, and it won't go on without people like Ellen, who is willing to learn SharePoint in order to help the next group of students who will have to work with SharePoint. And it wouldn't go on without people like Danielle, who is able to explain SharePoint in a way that we can all understand. And it's just amazing. It's really been fun.
Can they answer any questions for anybody?
Oh, swimming with questions. It's so impressive, and it's stunning to see the work that you must have put into this is just phenomenal. The little bit that I knew, and going back to the charter school, the little bit that I knew based on developing a website for a charter school, I don't know if people get the just enormous work just to create links, just to do the research and what resources there are to create those links. So I can't believe you did it in this amount of time. It's such a noble, needed effort that it just blows me away. I think that there must be very few things like this. And I guess one question would be whether you have found other communities that actually have websites like these. Or is this is
Was
really
there any model at all that you looked at, or?
No, this started with, how many people are in our class? 20-some people, all having different ideas about
16.
how to serve the Eau Claire community.
We were here in the beginning when it was just totally a blank slate. And for you to have come to this is so phenomenally impressive.
Well, it was a sad day when we realized we would not end hunger and poverty but we got there. And it was very inspiring to have Mary Clark and Nancy here and tell us we didn't have to end it. We just bump it a little bit, just make a dent, because together, all these people might. So it's cool.
One of the few directions that I gave the class was it has to go on after you get out of this class, and that's a very difficult concept to get and thing to do, and that's the whole point of the project they chose, that it would go on.
Well, I can't wait to see what and when the media will. I do think of Volume 1, and I think Volume 1 hopefully has contacted you or would be a tremendous advocate for you, as well as other media sources, to get the word out. You've done everything right. It's just amazing how well. I can't imagine the coordination of just which categories, which kind of committees you had, and then working with each other. What a lesson in life.
Especially this time of year, I would think Channel 10 and Channel 13 would be arm wrestling over the story to put on, wouldn't you think? So I think we need to call a few people.
Sure.
To add to that quickly, in the past half hour, while we were doing some pictures and videotaping, we've gotten 4 emails from the media people that we sent an email out to, kind of giving information on what we're all about. They said, sorry we couldn't be here today. And Channel 10, like you mentioned, wants to do an interview. So, I'm so excited. So, we can talk about that later, but just something to wrap it up. Shelly's right, it is working, so it's really exciting to actually see something come of it. Where we started from nothing.
Yeah, good, cool.
Thank you to all of our guests and everyone who's helped us so much this semester.